Sam Darnold was a former 4-star recruit in the 2015 class. He redshirted as a freshman and took over midway through the 2016 season. He led the Trojans and won every game as a starter that year. However, his 2017 season didn't go as planned. He turned over the ball 24 times, and even though he has serious ball security issues, he still has the traits of a top-tier quarterback. In my opinion, he has the arm strength to make every throw, and he understands how to quickly progress through his reads. Versus Texas, the outside receiver stepped hard towards the sideline. He widened the throwing lane and gave Darnold the window for this pass. Once the free safety drove on the post route, Darnold then placed the ball into the back of the end zone for the score. In the NFL, there are a number of teams that would love to have him. I think he has a decent shot at going first overall to the Browns, but if they don't pick him, a team like the Giants at number 2 would also be a good spot. The Broncos are another team that desperately needs a quarterback, and they could take him early in the first round. As a prospect, Darnold has the size and arm talent to make all the throws. He does a great job of throwing his receivers open and anticipating their routes. He has that innate ability to improvise on busted plays and does a great job of throwing off schedule. Additionally, his leadership and upside make him a top-tier prospect in this draft. While he does have some obvious strengths, he definitely has some weaknesses. I mentioned this earlier, but ball security is a serious issue. He had multiple 2-interception games, and he needs to do a better job of protecting the ball. Also, his throwing motion has an obvious hitch, which he'll need to fix in the pros. Now, I listed accuracy on the run as a weakness, but in my opinion, I think this is very fixable and will come with better mechanics going forward. At USC, the Trojans ran a lot of run-pass options on early downs to get the offense moving. Darnold did a good job of reading these plays pre-snap and post-snap. With 7 in the box, Darnold knows the slant route on the boundary has a potential chance for completion. He fakes the ball to his running back, sees that the outside linebacker shifted towards the sideline, and then he fit the ball to his target in stride. For these short yard throws, he can quickly get the ball to his receiver. This strength was really featured on cross-field throws. He could make all the required NFL passes, and multiple times a game, he made a perfect sideline throw. In this play, Darnold starts by reading to his left. Colorado is in zone coverage, so he's trying to find a spot between the defenders. Darnold quickly progresses through his reads and works his way all the way across the field to his comeback route on the sideline. The ball is released right when the receiver made his break, and it hit him perfectly past the sticks. This throw was on 3rd down, and very few quarterbacks have the arm strength, the accuracy, and the anticipation to consistently make this pass. While Darnold clearly has arm strength, his mechanics are something that will hold him back. Darnold will way too often throw off platform, even when he doesn't have to. He'll also throw passes off his back foot, or while he's running forward with room to set his feet. He has done a pretty good job with ball placement, but occasionally his mechanics will cause him to completely miss his target. In this throw versus Arizona, Darnold had plenty of space and time to make this throw. His footwork is a bit erratic, and he has this habit of jumping around instead of shifting comfortably in the pocket. Right as he looks to throw, he plants both feet to the ground and throws with a stiff front leg. He then winds up his arm from almost belt level and throws over his head with all arm. There is no hip movement, there is no follow through, and this causes his pass to sail. Now, other quarterbacks have had mechanical problems in the past, but in order for him to be successful, he'll have to work on his release and make his motion more compact. Moving on, and in terms of accuracy, Darnold can hit receivers on crossing routes, and he can throw a touch and in rhythm. He's really improved at throwing with anticipation, and I believe he's only going to keep getting better. Versus Ohio State, he made this very impressive pass in the second quarter. The Trojans run 4 verts, where number 80 attacks a space between the deep right safety and the underneath zone defenders. Darnold does a good job looking off the linebacker, and then he places a pass in stride to his receiver. If he stared at the spot where he wanted the ball to go initially, the linebacker would have dropped to his throwing lane and would have stopped his throw. But because he used good eye discipline, this allowed him to make this pass. Here's another example versus Colorado, where he held the deep safety using only his eyes. The throw is just a step behind, but it's still in a good place where only the receiver could adjust to the ball and make this catch. This ability will definitely translate and help him open up holes in the NFL. On deep passes, Darnold will do one of two things. He'll either throw the ball perfectly, or he'll completely miss his receiver entirely. He had 2 back-to-back passes versus Arizona State that illustrates this perfectly. On the first one, the seam breaks wide open to the end zone. This should have been an easy pitch and catch as soon as he realized that he had him open, but he just put too much heat on the ball. The good news, though, is that literally on the very next play, he found his mark and made the throw when it counted. This is a much harder throw, and he threaded it perfectly between the 2 defenders. Now, Darnold is actually a really efficient quarterback in the red zone. During his final year at USC, his touchdown to interception ratio was 15-1 within 20 yards of the goal line. He can throw a very catchable fade route, and he's aggressive to attack seams between defenders, as we saw in the last play. This next pass was his only interception in the red zone this year. As you can tell, he simply underthrew this pass on the run. My assumption is that he thought the linebacker was going to jump forward, but by the time he finished his follow through, the defender sat into his back pedal and made a great play. Regardless, a little bit more touch next time would have allowed his receiver to be the only person able to make this catch. One of Darnold's best traits by far is his ability to improvise when the pocket breaks down. Now, he's not Russell Wilson, of course, who can run around for like 10 seconds, but he can do a pretty good job himself. It's 3rd and 12, and even under crazy pressure, he still makes his play happen. There's a reason why there was so much hype from this year, and that's because his upside with this ability is at the top of this class. Here's another example versus Utah. It's 3rd down, and he again shows the pocket awareness to sense pressure coming from the line. Darnold gets outside the pocket, and he sees number 6 adjusting to the quarterback to try to get open in space. Unfortunately, he just places the ball too far in front, and they can't make this catch. Obviously, I would have preferred him to complete this pass, but like I said before, I think his accuracy on the run will definitely improve in the future. Before I move on from this play, I really want you to pay close attention to the 2 wide receivers on the left side of the field. They run their routes into the same area and shut down any opportunity of making either pass. I'm pointing this out because I feel like his accuracy and really to the next level, his ability to throw with anticipation was seriously constrained by this offense. His wide receivers consistently made stupid mistakes all year, and this was just the tip of the iceberg. By my tracking, for as many times as Darnold attempted to throw them open, there was at least 1 or 2 poorly ran plays each game. It was incredibly frustrating to watch, and it caused some serious issues on the field. In this play, the outside receiver clearly doesn't know what the play call is. I'm pretty sure he should be running a hitch route based on Darnold's throw and how the opposite sideline receiver ran his route. Obviously, he was not on the same page, and this pass was almost intercepted. This happened way too many times for me not to notice. I don't actually blame Darnold for these instances, and honestly, I give him a lot of credit for still trying to make these plays happen, but there was just so many mental errors on the field. The last thing I want to talk about before ending this video is that Darnold has a frame and build you look for in a quarterback, but he's just way too careless with the ball. He's had 21 fumbles as a starter, and he'll hold onto the ball with only one hand inside the pocket. He needs to do a better job of protecting the ball, and this will be a major thing he has to fix going forward. For his pro comparison, I think Sam Darnold and Andrew Luck are most similar. They are both great at improvising, and they both have the mobility and size to take hits. Luck also has a turnover problem as well, but he is still one of my all-time favorite prospects since I started scouting. I currently have Darnold as my number 2 quarterback in this class, and as of right now, I would be shocked if he fell out of the top 5 in this draft. There are just too many quarterback-needy teams, and with his upside and ability, I think he'll turn into a top-tier quarterback in the pros. Well, that's all I have for you. I will continue looking at quarterbacks and other prospects on this channel. If you want to support my work or suggest a prospect, please click on the link to my Patreon account below. You can also follow me on Twitter at Samuel R. Gold.